And we're recording? Okay. Hey there folks, Uncle Troy here, recording from bed because it's just one of those stay in bed kind of days. Promised y'all an update when I saw the doctor again. I just came from the doctor. Short version is, she's very happy with how I've responded to the radiation therapy. The tumors in my butt that we were worried about are smaller, not as inflamed. They don't hurt when you poke them. And they're not oozing blood and various things like they were. So we think the 20 radiation treatments we've had is all we're going to have for now, and we will check back again with her in about a month. So that's the short version, if you're just looking for a quick update. Long version is, hi there, Uncle Troy here, recording on my little Samsung HMX F80 video camera, because my Kindle, when I tried to boot it up to take this video, didn't power up. So I don't know what's wrong with that. But anyway, long story is that about 3 years ago, spring of 2013, I was diagnosed with metastatic colon cancer. Had a big tumor in my colon, smaller tumors, various places, and it was too late for surgery, too late for radiation. The only thing to save my life would be chemotherapy. So I did that for about 2 years, made some of the tumors go away, some of them smaller, and some of them just kind of kept the same size, stable, as they kept telling me. And stable is a good thing because, you know, basically they give you 6 months and you go through 6 months of treatments and they say you still have 6 months because everything is stable. Actually, 6 months is just the general 50% survival rate or something, median survival rate, something like that, for stage 4 colon cancer. It's, you know, the doctors never would give me an actual number, but I like to tell people I'm here in year 4 of my 6 months to live, so thumbs up. Anyway, after I gave up on the chemo because it just made me feel so bad all the time, and even if it was giving me more days, it wasn't giving me good days, if that makes any sense. I went without the chemo for several months, started feeling better, but then I started developing some pain in my butt, literal pain in my butt. And so I checked out, or I had the surgeon check me out because I'd had a thing called anal abscesses before. Anal abscess is where in the skin muscle of your butt pockets of fluid build up, and they can get infected and inflamed and hurt. And I ended up going to the hospital, having to have surgery to have those cut open and debrided, which means scrape out the infected tissue and whatnot. And I didn't know it at the time, but you know, darn near killed me. And so when I started feeling the pain in my butt again in the same sort of areas, I went to my surgeon to say, I think I've got these abscesses again. And the surgeon poked around and said, no, these aren't fluid filled. This is solid stuff. This is tumors or something like that. And you know, couldn't say it was cancer because they'll only tell you it's cancer after they've cut a piece out and sent it off to a lab for a pathology report. But you know, given I have tumors, a lot of other places, according to the CT scans, we decided this was cancer. So he was concerned that if he just went in cutting to get it out, he'd have to cut real deep into the muscle and around some places where there's lots of nerves and muscles and whatnot, and probably creates something that I wouldn't heal from. And since the whole point was to, give me more good days, he didn't think that surgery was the thing. And when a surgeon tells you he doesn't think surgery is the way to go, you listen to him, okay? And by the way, here's the camera. Here is the picture of what I'm recording, so I keep looking over here and I keep forgetting to look at the camera, so that's why I'm gazing off into the distance here, so to speak. Plus I look up here for some reason when I'm trying to remember things. Anyway, so he suggested I go to a radiation doctor, radiation therapy. So I went there, and she decided we'll start with 5 or 10, maybe 15. We ended up having 20 radiation treatments, basically high-power X-rays. Similar to what a standard X-ray, but higher power and for longer periods of time. And the plan was, 5 or 10 or 15. We ended up doing 20, and it was going to be one a day, 5 days a week. Take 4 weeks sorry, the little automatic light flip, or the backlight on my LCD display here that's showing my picture went dim, and I couldn't see, so I had to fix that. Anyway, so it was supposed to take 4 weeks to get 20 treatments, and it actually took closer to 6 weeks because we missed a couple of days. There was a holiday, a few days of mechanical difficulties, 1 day of my diabetes. I complained about that in a previous video, and but we finally got the 20 treatments in. And like I said, it was high-powered X-rays, and X-ray is basically just the same type of light you get from the sun, just a higher frequency, more powerful, more energetic particles. And it's like, you get ultraviolet rays from the sun, can give you a suntan. Well, X-rays can give you a suntan. And so I was getting X-rays concentrated into my butt, which basically I got the equivalent of a suntan, a radiation burn, in some very sensitive areas of my butt where the sun literally cannot shine. So after about 10, 15 treatments, the first 5 or 10 treatments, I didn't really feel anything, see any difference in my tumors or anything. Couldn't feel any difference, so I thought, I'm not even sure this is working. Well, after about 10 treatments, I noticed the tumors were getting smaller, they hurt less, they were draining less blood stuff. So, cool, right? Well, a few more treatments, I noticed that my butt was getting irritated, especially some very sensitive parts of the butt. And too much information here. Pooping went from a generally pleasant sensation to very, very painful, as in clench your fist, grit your teeth, tears streaming down the eyes, painful. Which was bad because the radiation was also irritating my intestines and causing me to have a bit of diarrhea, so I was having multiple bowel movements a day. Went through a lot of pain pills, which didn't do a whole lot, and generally it was unpleasant. And as I explained to the doctor, I'm glad that finally went away because I was running out of places to stick pins in your little doll. And luckily she got that reference, and luckily she thought that was funny, so that's good. She did request that I leave the doll with her when I left, which was funny. Anyway, but so that took, that was over the course of a couple of weeks, because the last 10 treatments took, about 3 weeks to do because of the mechanical difficulties and holidays and whatnot. So about a week after the last treatment, I realized that I was gritting my teeth unnecessarily. It didn't hurt that much, and then a couple of days later realized, I'm having a bowel movement without it hurting at all, and now I'm back to pooping regularly. And like I said, maybe TMI, but I was just waiting for the next telemarketer to call and say, "Hello, sir, how are you today?" So I could say, "Hey, I pooped and it didn't hurt," And of course, nobody called. So I went to see her today. She poked around a bit. We talked, and like I said, she's very happy with the progress. We have the potential to use more radiation in the future if necessary. She's actually talking about switching from the X-rays, which have quite a bit of penetrating power, to what she calls electrons, what I call beta radiation. But basically it's penetrates skin less than an inch, and it's the kind of thing she uses to treat skin cancer, she says. So we have that in reserve. But first she's sending me back to the surgeon to have him look at me to see what he thinks of the changes, and if I need surgery to remove what's left of the tumors, if that's an option, if that's something we want to do. Because I would like, I've got some on the surface and a lot under the surface, and I would like the some on the surface to be removed because it's still the part that hurts sometimes. But also, the on the surface is a good indicator of what might be happening under the surface where we can't see. So we might want to leave that there so that doctors can look at it and decide later if we need to do something. So here in a couple of weeks, go see the surgeon. A couple more weeks, go back and see the doctor again. And but for the time being, I have a lot less pain, a lot less swelling, a lot less drainage, and can sit a little better, and just generally having good days mostly. And I just had to get out to go into town today when I really would rather have stayed in bed, and so that kind of wore me out, which is why I'm just planning to stay in bed the rest of the day once I get this video uploaded. Then eventually I might check to see what's wrong with my Kindle. I'm not sure. But in the meantime, it's Uncle Troy signing out. Please have a good night.